Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Kyle Bull, the ever belligerent guitarist for bands like Bushido Code, Human Animal, and xrepresentx. And you also may know him from his many YouTube demos for amps and guitars and things like that. Just preface that. How's it going?
Dude, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. How are you doing?
It could be better, but you know what? I'm here.
You're
I'm
here.
present. Yeah. And
Dude, it's as good as it's going to get.
I'm very excited. I feel like I already know you because I've watched so many of your demos and gear playthroughs and things like that on YouTube.
Cool.
So getting to talk to you is it's pretty funny. It's like meeting an old friend.
Hell yeah. You know, I've met a couple people that watch the channel, and it's like it's so weird to meet somebody you've never met before and they're like telling you things about yourself that I'm like, how would they know that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm constantly like rambling in videos and saying like personal shit. So like I always forget about it, but it's interesting to meet people who know about you right when you meet them. So that's been throwing me through a loop a little bit.
I've had that experience, not probably on the scale that you have, but I've been like on the road with my band or something, and I'll meet somebody who listens to the podcast, and they're like, "You sound exactly the same as your podcast," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I don't have like a separate voice changer box that I'm using for the. It's just literally my voice."
Right. They're tripped out by that somehow.
Yeah, and it was pre-video, so I guess for them it's interesting to just hear somebody speaking, and then they see the person, and so it's
For
I
sure.
guess maybe it's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
now you see me. I'm on screen now. People pestered me enough to do video, so
He's here.
for the
You can
5
look at him.
people that have been asking, here you go. I know it's almost 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, but are you drinking any coffee?
I am not actually. So I'm sure that you are. What are you drinking?
Unfortunately, I am drinking coffee, and in my current physical state, not the best choice. But it's gonna mix with those cold and flu meds pretty well. I'm gonna hit a wave. I have something from Enjoy Coffee. It's their Daniel Hernandez. It's got pineapple, mixed berry, and wildflower honey notes.
Damn.
I was in Providence a few weeks ago mixing a band from Montreal, like a corporate gig.
Cool.
And got to do some exploring. This was roasted by an actual guest I had on a few years ago that was at Bolt Coffee. His name's Justin. And so he split off, started his own coffee roaster, which is the dream, I guess, by coffee standards.
Right.
And yeah, he's doing some killer stuff. So shout out Justin. Thank you
Hell yeah.
for roasting sick coffees.
Good for Justin.
Are you a coffee man?
So no. I do drink it. It's almost kind of like a necessity thing for me. I'm in the middle of moving right now, so I actually haven't had coffee in probably a week or so. But I do enjoy it. Like, and I've really kind of gotten used to drinking black coffee, and if it's brewed just right, like I actually really enjoy black coffee. So, it's like I need to step my game up, dude. I need to get back into it.
I'll equate it to sort of like gear.
No.
There's a threshold, okay? So you can be like, the guy that has his end game rig. He got his 5150 and his, matching Mesa cab or something, and he's got his EC1000, and that's all he needs. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got the one tone. But you could also be the proggy guy that has 16 different guitars and 8 tunings, and you know what I'm saying? Like there are limits, and it's boundless. So I would warn you, if you don't want to go down another money pit, do not get into coffee.
Getting into the real deal coffee, yeah.
If you want to scratch the surface, you can do that as well. It's okay. Go to Overwinter and get yourself a nice little latte or something.
I'll have to, maybe you can send me some recommendations after this. I would say the best coffee I've ever had, or is that something that we should wait to talk about?
No, go ahead, please.
Okay. So my band Represent, we flew to Costa Rica last year and we played like a one-off show down there. and I stopped in a shop and I bought a bag of coffee there just on a whim. Like I couldn't even read the label. I didn't know what flavor it was or anything. And I got it home, dude, and that shit kicked. It was super good.
Costa Rica ranks very highly for me. They
Okay.
so I'll do a very basic coffee economy thing. Certain coffee producing countries have more investment from like the American and European markets. So they have an influx of cash through like direct trade from roasters and things like that, where it allows them to do more interesting processes and more technological growing and things like that. So the quality of places like Costa Rica is very, very high. And they have a lot of very interesting processes to get more flavor out of the beans than you would otherwise get with like just a basic processing method.
Okay.
So that's why that coffee is probably really good
Yeah.
because they've gotten a lot of money from like, the more third wave expensive markets to be able to be like, throwing some crazy shit on that coffee.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. See, this is all stuff that is way beyond my scope of knowledge for this. So that's cool.
And it lives rent free and I don't even have a use for it anymore. So,
This podcast.
I mean, I guess, right? I can just mansplain coffee processing and markets to people
It's in the name, bro.
who barely care. I feel like I could use that space for other things, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. Bands that get to go and play South America. How was the experience of playing in Costa Rica?
Dude, it was incredible. Like, I would say one of the best, if not the best show that we've ever gotten to play. Like where we were the headliner, like where people were coming out specifically for us. It was a really cool experience. We flew down there and I think we spent 5 days, but we only played one show. So like we all knew this was probably never gonna happen again. Let's set aside some extra time and hang out. And so we got to hang out with this band called Cadenas? Cadenas? I'm terrible at pronouncing. But anyways, really, really cool local band from Costa Rica. And they like basically run their entire scene. Like their shirts were everywhere. They kind of had the kind of like a little crew, you know what I mean? Like, and I saw people kind of representing that. So like they definitely were like the stewards of the ship of their scene. So they took really good care of us. We got to hang out with them. They showed us around town. But also they put on a killer show for us. And the bands that played with us, honestly, we were all blown away. We were like, these guys, these dudes fuck. You know what I mean? Like the bands all killed it. Uh and then we played and people went nuts for us. And it's really interesting to play in a different country where people know the words to your songs. That like blows my mind. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean,
super cool experience.
especially in a country where like English isn't even the first language and they
Right.
know the lyrics.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
It was super cool, man. It was I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So you're a Buffalo based, correct?
Erie,
You're Eerie.
Pennsylvania.
Why did
Yeah.
I think Buffalo? I don't know
I don't
why I
know.
thought that.
I don't know.
That's so weird.
I wish you wouldn't. No, I'm just putting.
No. Hey, no hate on Buffalo. Man. I like Buffalo. Well, what is the scene in Erie like? Because I've heard mixed things.
Dude, it's rough right now, to be honest, and it's been rough for more than 10 years. Like, so unfortunately, Erie has a problem with population. In the last 25 years, we've lost over 30,000 people of our population. So
Oh,
like people are most of the good jobs here have left. You know, there were very few good jobs to start, but most of them are gone, unfortunately. So like a lot of people have been leaving the city with them. So when I got into the scene, which would have been 2003, is when I started going to shows. Dude, every show was packed. Like, it didn't matter if it was a couple of locals or a big touring package. It was like every show was populated and people were psyched to be there. And you know what I mean? That was a great time for hardcore and underground music in general. But like for our particular scene, it was awesome. We had a few like pretty well known bands. We had Shockwave, Disciple AD, Brothers Keeper. Abnegation was gone by that time, but I mean, like, that's those were big national touring bands, and we had a great, huge scene. And unfortunately, over the years, man, those bands broke up. The people who booked the shows here in Erie, like, decided there was one main player. His name was Mike Torty. He moved to Pittsburgh and just stopped booking shows in Erie. And it was like after that, man, is that was pretty much it, you know. So we've been fighting for venues, we've been fighting for bands, and we just don't have the younger crowd to like kind of reinvigorate things. I have a little venue here in my studio that's probably you put 100 people in the room, it's shoulder to shoulder. So like that is what this scene needs though, because when you don't have a lot of people showing up to shows, it can be awkward, the energy's weird, you know what I mean? But with everybody kind of crammed together, it makes it feel like more, you know, a lot more exciting than it might if it was in a bigger room. So
That's what, I think a lot of scenes need. Even in Montreal, and, we play a lot of places, like, in New England and stuff, and it seems like there's a lack of venues that are that 100 or smaller, and that's where your, like, scene kinda grows and thrives is in those small DIY environments. Everybody gets to know each other, and then from there, it kind of is able to expand. So yeah, that's very invaluable setting up a space like that.
yeah, man, it was kind of just a weird like by chance the way that it happened. It was almost out of necessity. So like for anybody who hasn't seen my channel or knows who I am, which is probably most of you, I'm like a crazy gear collector. Over 100 amps, 100 cabs, like 20 drum kits. Every piece of gear you can imagine is probably floating around this studio for the most part within reason. So anyways, like I started the YouTube channel in late 2020. Actually, my 5-year anniversary of my first video is like a month away, which is kind of mind blowing. But yeah, over the years, I had just collected a ton of gear, and my house was really small, and everything was packed into my basement or like every nook and cranny of the house where I could fit stuff. And finally, it got to a point where I'm like, all right, dude, I need to get this shit out of here. I've got too much stuff. And then my fiance at the time, she worked in the school system. So, like during the summer, I literally couldn't work because I couldn't film because I actually play all of my stuff loud through a cab and mic it up versus a lot of guys who do the impulse response thing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, like, it was tough for me to find the time to be able to work in the summer. So, anyways, this studio is right around the corner from the house. It was just an old commercial space that had been vacated. So I ended up renting it, turning part of it into a studio, turning part of it into my YouTube studio. Down here, I had actually where the venue originally was. There was this really awkward, shitty laid out room where I tried to make it a venue to the best of my ability. And honestly, people liked it. Like when people showed up, it was a weird room, but people made the best out of it. So I probably had like 6 or 7 shows down here. But there was a chiropractor office next door that's connected to my building. And the person just all of a sudden was like, we're moving out at the end of the month. Like they gave us no notice. And my landlord came and talked to me and he's like, hey, do you want to rent this space next door? Because I'm looking at Edward Jones, like the financial place, was looking at renting it. And I'm like, well, if they fucking rent it, I'm not going to be able to do anything here. You know, I won't be able to blast guitars or I definitely won't be able to have shows. I have a recording studio. I'm not going to be able to record drums unless they're closed. You know what I mean? So I took over that side of the building basically out of necessity, but it kind of worked out because the venue is way better over there. Like the
Mhm.
room is just laid out for it better. And it also gave me the opportunity to do a couple other things on the other side of the building to help the local music community, I guess you could say, a couple of rehearsal rooms, rentable recording studio. So it's turned out really cool, but it was definitely not part of the plan initially.
I mean, that's a crazy undertaking, to be fair. Like, just renting an entire building in your
Dude.
city just to help, put the music scene on your back.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was basically just like, all right, I have this space, let's do something with it. Cause initially it was just selfishly, it was just for me. You know, I wanted a place to keep all my shit and be able to make loud noises without pissing people off. But because I do get so much support from the companies and stuff that I work with through the YouTube channel, it actually made that whole other side of the building, it turned into something seriously like fucking awesome. So I'm like
Mhm.
super, super grateful.
I'm guessing Sweetwater lent a hand, doing some
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, a couple things here, there. Pretty much everything that's on the other side of the studio, so shout out Sweetwater.
Yeah, they're good
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Uh, and congrats. This 5 years of doing YouTube, man. That is like I'm not even at 5 years doing the podcast, and it's been overwhelming at times. So I
Yeah.
mean, congrats.
Dude, when you're creating something and running something, I don't think people realize how much work goes into that. You know what I mean? So, like, your podcast, I listened to a couple episodes. Think you do a great job. Like, good listen. Quality of everything was great. But also, like, people don't understand how long it takes to edit something when you need to edit it down and make it
Mhm.
actually listenable. People don't understand even just the communication aspect of, like, you were working earlier and we were kind of going back and forth. And it's just like having a full time job and then organizing something on like this on top of everything else is just, it's a lot more work than people give it credit for. So you got to really want to do it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
like
definitely.
like a hardcore band, which is why none of them ever last because nobody wants to do it after 2 years and nobody wants to work. So
I mean, playing for $50, uh, or maybe gas money or a pizza is, it can only go so long.
I don't know if I agree with that, man, but you gotta be kind of fucked up to want to keep doing this into your 40s. So
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm not quite there yet, but you know, at times it's like, why am I doing this? But I
is
love
it?
it
But
still.
then you probably have like an episode or like shows. You go to a show and it just lights a fire under your ass all over again. You know?
Yeah. I mean, even with the band is like another job on top of the podcast, on top of the job.
Yeah.
So I think I just need to like, yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, you have the same thing, so you know where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with your band. What band are you in?
I play in a band called Bruiserweight,
Okay. And you're out of where again?
Montreal.
Montreal. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
in
Cool,
Canada.
cool. We got to get up there. We just played in London, Ontario, and
Oh,
it was fucking sick.
oh, it's good.
Yeah, it was great. There was probably like 60 kids there, so like it was lightly attended, but it was a lot of young kids who were like just psyched. It was
Where'd you
super cool.
play?
Uh what is it called? Like Forest City Straight Edge?
You played Force City Hardcore.
Yes, yes, yes. Yep, that's where we played.
Yeah, we played I think three shows for them.
No shit.
Yeah, at the Eastern Star, like the little Mason Hall or whatever.
You seem surprised when I said it was cool, or is it like usually kind of bonk or what?
No, so a lot of times London's been hit or miss, but I wasn't sure because if you don't play an Forest City show, it's usually not great. So
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were playing the Forest City shows, and that's Aiden's doing really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, dude, that venue is cool as hell, and like all the people who were working were super super nice and accommodating. So like it was cool to see like older adults that do not look like they would ever be at a hardcore show,
Hmm.
kind of like hanging out, and you can tell they're just kind of supporting. They're happy that the kids are doing something like that. Like so, I thought that was super cool,
The crazy part is the kids there mosh for everything. They mosh
dude.
the whole time.
Yes, they do. I love it. Except
It's
for AFI covers. The band before us covered Total Immortal and nobody knew it. It was a bummer.
I want to know who that is because it's pretty funny. But
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name. I'm terrible with that, but yeah.
that's cool. We have our scene up here is pretty big. Like
Yeah,
it's a lot of people, but there's like kind of um there's like different promoters that draw like kind of,
sure.
but there are cross sections obviously. Our biggest one right now in hardcore I would say is called Be About It.
Okay.
And they're doing a lot of cool stuff. And we have some like MTLHC Collective is another big one, but yeah, it's we try to do, sometimes it's a lot of shows in a row, and so people get a little bit tired, and so you'll have a month of like 20 shows, and then
Yeah. People
people are
get
like,
fatigued and
why is nobody at my show? It's like, well, you're like the 20th show in a row, like
right, right.
give us a break, dude.
Yeah, man, it's too much of a good thing. You
I
know what I
know.
mean? Like it's definitely a thing and I've argued with people over this before, but like bands playing too often in their local scenes, that's a huge detriment to your scene. Whether people want to agree with it or not, I really don't see it any other way. Like if you're oversaturating the scene with the same band playing the same venue and then nobody comes out to any of their shows, it's like, well, yeah, because you play every week. Like they're not they're not going to miss anything if they don't see you 3 weeks in a row, because of that fourth week, they know you're going to be there. And stuff like that is what just kills attendance for like other bands.
Basic economics, supply
Right.
and demand,
Absolutely.
you know? Cut
Yep.
the supply, demand goes up.
Yep. I try, honestly, for my bands, I try not to play more than 2 hometown shows a year. Like, I really try to keep it to an absolute minimum. So, I actually just booked, I think, what's gonna be our only show in Eerie for next month, um, for Represent, with a band called Mystic Supreme, which, Mike from Cold as Life, that's his new band, and they're doing, like, a little weekend run, and he asked me to set something up here, so it's gonna be Represent and them, and then we got a couple locals opening it up, so should be a fun little show.
That's sick. Um, well, I mean, I'm happy to hear that, people are coming out, especially in Erie. Isn't it like Erie's like right in between Cleveland and Buffalo, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
2 hours, and literally 2 hours in any direction is a major city. You got Cleveland, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, all within 2 hours, so
So by those on paper, it should be you should have good turnouts, I would say. I mean,
the
but
the problem is bands play those cities, but they don't play Erie. So,
I understand.
yeah, because I mean, we don't have anybody to book those touring packages, so unfortunately, it's hard to get people here, and then when you do, unless they don't ever tour this way, like, people can see them in Cleveland, Buffalo, or Pittsburgh, so they don't really have much of a reason to come to Erie, so
Makes
it's
sense.
tough, man.
That's how it was like in Savannah when I was growing up. Is like bands would play Charleston or Jacksonville, and they don't
Okay.
play Savannah.
Interesting, they just skip over it?
Yeah, it was like, it's off of 95, so people just, from Charleston down, it's an easy skip. Not the best venues, you know.
Yeah,
Same
that's a bummer.
same kind of story, but it's a cool place to live. It's just, yeah, the scene was always either very localized or, old guy like Elton John on his last tour or some
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So going back to the YouTube, the gear channel, has there ever been a piece of gear that you've been sent and asked to do a review and it was just so bad that you couldn't do it?
Dude, only one. Only literally out of every video, only one. And Glenn Fricker just made a video about it. It was the Aero Band guitar. It's not even a real guitar. It's like Play School's my first guitar. Like, it's got nylon style strings, but they're attached to the fretboard, and it literally sounds like a Casio keyboard when you play it. And like, their idea behind the thing was, it takes all the pain out of playing guitar because it hurts your fingers. Like,
What?
I'm like, that's their marketing pitch. Like, that's terrible. That's terrible. So they wanted me to do a video. I'm like, I can't make a video with this. I can't do anything. And they're like, well, we'll double your rate. Like, that's how bad they wanted me to do a video. And apparently they did it to a bunch of other creators too. And what ended up happening is that a lot of those creators, when they got the actual guitar, they made a video trashing it. So then the company started threatening them with legal action. Bec- and it's just like, do you understand what you signed up for? Like, we don't, I mean, a lot of people like to think that we just only make commercials. Some channels do that, but for the most part, most of these dudes make videos on something, and they play it as if they were playing it for themselves. You know what I mean? So like, but anyways, like, that's what you signed up for, dude. You signed up for the honest opinion, and you have a trash product. So now you want to sue people for telling people the truth. You know what I mean?
Especially like someone with a reputation like Glenn
Yeah.
for
Well,
his.
they didn't send one to him.
Okay.
So he ended up getting it from one of our other creator friends who got sent it. I still have mine. It's still chilling in the attic. So if anybody wants it, shoot me a message, because I can't. I tried to send it back to them, and they just stopped. They stopped talking to me once I said, sorry, I can't do the video. You know what I mean?
Where's it based?
China.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like they sell it. I'm pretty sure they sell it through Amazon now. So it would just went back to like a fulfillment center or some shit.
Oh my God. Oh, that's great. I didn't expect that, but I mean, I guess that does make sense.
I mean, as far as like real gear and not like bullshit like that, I mean, I'm a firm believer, man, that there's, especially now in 2025, there's no such thing as bad gear for the most part. It's everything serves a purpose, whether it serves your purpose or not is, that's on you. So there are very, very few pieces of actual bad gear. And I haven't really run across anything that doesn't do what it says on the label. It may not be my favorite sound or it may not be my favorite look or whatever, but generally it all performs the way it's supposed to. So
What would you say is your one piece of gear you'll never get rid of?
man, that's tough. I have an EVH 100-watt Stealth EL34 amp, which they're great amps. A lot of people think that they're the best of the 5150s. I don't know if I agree, but it's a great amp. But I actually rented it to Scott Ian of Anthrax Mr. Bungle because EVH is, I believe, they're a little bit stingy when it comes to sending out gear for stuff. So like they, for whatever reason, they couldn't send Scott an amp to use for his Mr. Bungle tour, which was an East Coast tour. His amp, he wanted to keep it back on the West Coast for recording and stuff. He didn't want to fly it out and risk getting it busted or lost or whatever. So my buddy Jeff Cummings, sworn enemy, shout out. He texts for a lot of those bands. And he hit me up and asked me, he's like, hey, do you have something that maybe Scott could rent? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. So I mean, it's just cool. I left the stage tape on the back of it and stuff. It says like stage left, and that's cool just because, this iconic guitarist who is really responsible for a lot of modern metal and hardcore, like toured with it. So I usually don't give a shit about stuff like that. I'm not really much of like a celebrity person, like caring about that stuff. But I mean, Scott Ian, it's pretty cool.
It's a flex.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, it's not going to sound any better. It doesn't make me sound any better. That's for fucking sure.
I mean, I know this still sounds good, but the story, like the lore is the important part.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, I listened to your episode with Paul of Suburban Scum, and so you're a drummer, right?
Yeah, but I play most instruments.
Okay, so pretty similar to me then.
I'm a very gear heavy person. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's what's up, dude. That's why I'm here, right?
Yeah. It's bad. Like I grew up in the church world too, which is even more like gear heavy, I would say, like in a different way.
Yeah.
But I've always been like the person that wanted to know as much as I could about the things that I was interested in, probably undiagnosed ADHD in some way.
Of course.
So yeah, I've always been super interested in gear. So I've spent hours watching different gear release videos and demos and things. So I probably spend most of my time watching Ola and you, and then there's another guy, I can't remember his fucking name. I can't remember his name. He has really long hair. He's like a metal guy.
Yuge?
No. Lance? I can't remember his name. But
he does a lot of stuff.
He does a lot of stuff with cheap modelers, which is just entertaining to me. Like he tries.
Taylor Danley?
Yes, Taylor Danley.
Dude, shout out Taylor. He's the homie. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he makes great content.
I just love that he tries every cheap fucking modeler on the market, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, so, for sure.
But yeah, it's just part of my hyperfixations is like gear stuff, and I don't collect as much as I wish I could, but
yeah, that's a good thing, man. Trust me.
It all goes to coffee.
Yeah, there you go. That's your other collection, right?
Yes.
So for you, not to interrupt, but what I was getting at is for you, what's cooler, like a super high end, rare piece of gear that's like brand new, or something that's kind of got a little bit of a story behind it, and it's like maybe it's had its ass beat, but it still does the job, but like it's got some mojo.
Definitely the mojo.
Good man.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like I bought my like I have a kit that I love that I waited a long time to buy, and it's like a Tamistar Classic Maple.
Nice, beautiful kit.
And my band opened for Death Threat the last time they came to Montreal.
Sick.
And we backline the kit because locals backline usually.
That's how it goes.
And I don't even play drums in my band. I sing.
Okay.
But I was like, yeah, we can use my kit. It's fine. And so Jamie push button who
Mm-hmm.
played on Peace and Security, and he played on Satisfaction. No, he played on Perseverance by Hatebreed. Two of my favorite hardcore records of all time.
Of course.
Played drums on my drum kit. So
And it's
I
sick,
can
right?
never get rid of that drum kit
Right.
because one of my
Yeah.
favorite hardcore drummers played it. And then I had to backline my kit for a show we played with Bayway. My other
Mm-hmm.
band played, but the headliner was Sect.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
So did Andy play your
he
drums?
played my drums. And
Yeah, yeah.
Fall Out Boy, not even
Yep.
Sect, Fall Out Boy is one of my favorite like childhood bands.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love him too. Yeah.
So Andy fucking played my drum kit. Jimmy Pushbutton played my drum kit. I can
Dude.
never get rid of this drum kit.
Six degrees of separation or whatever you call it. So I'm in a band with a couple of dudes from the band Brothers Keeper in Eerie back in the day. Pete Wentz was their roadie back then.
What the hell?
Yeah, yeah. So like I hear stories of Pete Wentz like just being the worst roadie ever all the time in practice, but like they loved him. But it's so funny. Like hardcore, that's one of the cool things about hardcore, dude, is like everything is so interconnected. Jamie, I'm pretty sure Jamie played in Swear to God too, right?
Yes.
Which I fucking love that band. That's a band that needs a resurgence in popularity, but I doubt it's gonna happen. But anyways, yeah, it's so funny. Like so many bands have shared members, and like there's just so many. When you start talking to people who've been around a while, they can tell you so many cool stories about things that most people don't know, and it's just that's one of the aspects I love about hardcore. It's just kind of like everything's very intertwined. You know what I mean?
It's everyone's intertwined, and a lot of, especially in the old heads, like there's not a lot of ego.
Yes, dude, 100%, 100%. Not to steal the conversation and derail, but like I got to flex right now. Okay,
Do it. Is it the bulldoze story? You got to tell the bulldoze story.
It's kind of part of that.
Okay.
So last week I went down to Hellhound Studios in New Jersey to help Bobby Hamble of Biohazard like do a digital rig. So like I got to help him kind of capture his amps, and I also like was able to get a couple companies to help me out and send some gear because he was having like issues with his gear, and it seemed like the band just didn't really have money to do much with it. So like I talked to him, figured out what he needed. I got some companies to send some stuff out, and I gave it all to him when I was there, like doing the rig, and he was blown away. Like it was probably the coolest thing that I've ever gotten to do as far as like both the channel and hardcore. Because I mean, let's face it, Biohazard has influenced everything that's come after them. You know what I mean? Like there's Biohazard influence in pretty much all modern hardcore one way or another. So that was just like super, super cool. But the way that that happened is that Chris, the drummer from Bulldoze, he hit me up and asked me because he's teching for Biohazard on their tour, but he knew me because his guys in Biohazard, Mike and Zach, they use my Quad Cortex captures live. So like they use my stuff live. They use it because of my videos, and it's just like this is the coolest fucking shit ever, dude. Like it's so cool. Bands that I grew up listening to are like influenced by my dumbass YouTube videos, you know? Like it's super, super cool. But anyways, where I was going with that, I also have unchecked ADHD.
So good.
Is that I have noticed that like the OG guys in the scene are cool as fuck. All of them are super cool, super respectful, no ego. It's when I try to talk to younger bands is when I get cool guyed. And seriously, dude, that's something I've always hated about hardcore. Like you're a small fish in a small pond, dude. Like this is corny. You know what I mean? Like the whole ego thing with younger up and coming bands. I got stiffed. I drove 2.5 hours to do like a rig rundown type video for a couple of bigger hardcore bands. And one of them never even replied to me. And then the other one said they were like all about it the week leading up to it. They're like, yeah, let's do it. It's going to be cool. I'm like, okay, I'll show up with my stuff. We'll do the rig rundown video. It'll be super quick. It'll be easy. So I show up, they're playing. We're going to do it afterwards. And I asked the singer and he's like, yeah, for sure. Like, let me go grab the guys. So like 20 minutes goes by, nothing happens. And I had to go find him and track him down. And he's like, oh, sorry, our dudes put all our stuff away already. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I mean, I came out here specifically to do this. Like, this is a 2.5 hour drive one way for me. And he's like, yeah, sorry, man. See ya. Like, that was it, dude. Like, he did not give a shit. I don't even know if he ever ran it by the rest of his band members or whatever, but like, that actually in that moment, I'm like, all right, I'm never doing rig rundown stuff again because to drive like 2 or 3 hours just to get stiffed by somebody who's they're not even like really that big of a band, like it was pretty whack. And then I've decided to do it again because Mike from Madball, shout out Mike, Madball flew to Eerie and like he wanted to do a rig rundown. I hit him up. He was all about it. So like coolest possible dude. And like that got a lot of traction. People really dug it. So I'm like, all right, I'll do the rig rundown videos, but like I apparently have to be super selective of who I do it with. So, but it's always the younger bands, man. Like I definitely sound like a fucking boomer right now, but I've just noticed like there's an air about dudes in the younger up and coming bands where they think their shit don't stink. You know, that's just one anecdotal situation that I've experienced, but I mean, been doing this for over 20 years and countless times where dudes in like mid-size hardcore bands just, you know, you know.
It's I don't know, man. It's like I've talked to people that are in like real like pretty big bands
Mhm.
and they're super nice, super humble. They'll even like you hit them up and ask for like help with some stuff. They're usually gonna respond.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, like you're saying, like regionally they might have some juice
Mhm.
and they're like younger and it goes to the head and they just don't give a shit. Like they
Yeah.
will guy you. It's super interesting to see the
It
dynamic.
is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
And it's even like now I see young people coming to shows and I try to like, you know, reach out, like be like, is this your first show? Like, just shoot the shit. Be
Yeah.
like, why how'd you find out? Like, how'd you get here?
Dude, that's the stuff that makes people stick around though.
Mhm.
Is like when they show up and they get noticed at a show and it's not dudes being a dickhead or it's not some fucking idiot like crowd killing them on purpose, which whatever. Crowd
That's
killing is
it's
fine
it's
as
part of
long
it.
as you're punching your fucking friends.
It's part
That's
of
the
it.
rule. Right. But anyways, yeah, like you striking up conversations with people who are coming to shows for the first time. That's huge, man. Like I commend you for that because that's really important.
Well, I mean, it's like even now it's like I noticed that like a lot of people think they're too cool. Like I've introduced myself to people before and then
Hmm.
the next time I'll greet them and they'll be like, "How do I know you?" And I'm like, "What?"
Damn.
We had like a full on conversation last time.
Dude, don't feel bad though, because I'm terrible with names and faces. So like I do that to people, but it's never like a who are you? It's always like a sorry, I'm a fucking idiot and I can't remember names very well. So you know what I mean? But I get what you mean for sure. It's like that sometimes.
It do be like that. How'd you get into heavy music?
Man, that's a good question. I think that there are a couple of factors. When I was younger, my dad he used to take me to the babysitters before I was old enough to even like go to preschool and school. And it was kind of out of the way. And this would have been like 91, 92. So I was 3, 4 at the time. For some reason, I just remember listening to the Black Album by Metallica every day for like an entire year on the way to and from the babysitters. So like I think that was a huge part of it. Think it just kind of like it got my brain primed for like, oh, music sounds like this. You know what I mean? But also those babysitter kids loved Korn and Pantera. And when it finally came around, like Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. So like the kids that I was around, they also kind of same deal. You know, it just kind of I was like, okay, music can sound like this and it's not weird. So like as I got older, like I found myself like really kind of vibing with like heavier stuff. And it just felt natural. You know what I mean? So how about yourself?
Oh man. I was like a Christ core kid.
Yeah.
So I've heard there was like a TV channel that used to come on after school called Steel Roots.
Okay.
And it was like on the Inspiration Network, something from North Carolina. And it was they used to play like Norma Jean and Under Oath and
Yeah.
like Blindside. And yeah, it was like a lot of like cornerstone music
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Okay.
And so when I was like 11 or 12, I remember coming home and like finding that channel and just being like, whoa, why is he screaming?
Yeah.
What is this about? Uh, but I always liked like guitar music, like music with heavy guitars. So like
Mm-hmm.
my parents were like, they were youth, not youth pastors, but they were like, they would teach like in youth group and stuff. And so they would always go to like summer series concerts and take like the youth group. So I would go with them. So I remember seeing like this like new metal band when I was probably like seven, 7 or 8, and being like, why is he screaming? This is sick.
Yeah.
And then there was like this long gap. And so I would say like whenever I heard like Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste by Norma Jean,
Dude.
Walls by Emery,
Emery's playing here in like 2 weeks. I'm actually really pumped for that. Yeah.
Emery. So
They're sick. I still love that band.
Unashamedly, probably my favorite band.
They're super good, man.
So
Super good.
yeah, I love Emery. So bands like that, and then got into like the deathcore thing
Mm-hmm.
through that, and then out of deathcore, I think I heard "Wake the Dead" was one of the first like hardcore songs I heard by Comeback Kid,
So good.
and
So
so
fucking good.
yeah, I heard that and I was like, oh wow, this is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then from there, it just kind of took off. Got into like the Backtrack and TUI
Hell yeah.
era
Yeah.
hardcore.
That really was a whole era too.
Dude,
Like,
it was like the upbeat, like not beat down, but like kind of had breakdowns.
so we always, here in Eerie, we always called it skibbity bop. Because it was always like, dude.
Yeah,
And it dudes doing the goofy 2-steps and shit like that. Like, there was definitely some resistance in Eerie to like some stuff like that. But I think for the most part, it was just like we hated the above the knee shorts kids who like wore like button downs and shit that just showed up looking like fucking total nerds, but then they would like hardstyle pose for every photo and stuff. It was just that time in hardcore was really goofy.
That's so
But
funny. That's
some
like
of those
my
bands-
era.
yeah, dude. No disrespect. Like I said, it was kind of like a, what do you call it? Like a hazing type thing where
Yeah.
we would bust those kids' balls. You know what I mean? But like, you know, a couple of them stuck around. So, but there were some great bands from that era. Of course, Trapped Under Ice. I always tell Paul he's my favorite drummer, but Suburban Scum, I think, is one of the best bands from that era.
Yes.
Period. They were heavy. They were fucking groovy. The vocals were awesome. The songs were well written. I love Suburban Scum. So like they are definitely one of my favorite hardcore bands, period, and they're from that.
That I mean, it's like that was an interesting time, I think, because before that it was like very posse-core. Like you remember the whole posse numbers movement, like locking out style. Fucking thumbs up. I hate that so much.
Speaking of posse-core,
dude, no. But before that, it was like the very much like 2-step side to side, no crowd killing, not really heavy moshing. And I think it was it Bitter End was one of the first bands to like take us out of that posse sound, and then TUI dropped the demo and Backtrack.
Dude, the demo.
And
fuck.
The
So
demo.
Good. So good.
A Reality Unfolds demo version.
So good.
Why is it so fast?
It's as fast as it needs to be.
So, and then Suburban Scum and all those bands were just like right in there with it. And I mean, that's the era that I find myself gravitating back towards. And I'm a big New York hardcore person too. So the skibbity bop definitely fits my vibe.
Let's coin that, man. And every podcast moving forward, you gotta refer to it as skibbity bop.
Well, you were skibbity before the Gen Z guys were.
What do you mean?
Because the whole skibbity toilet thing, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Sorry, my brain doesn't work. But yeah. We started that shit.
Yeah, that was before them. So Skibbity, Ohio, you know.
Oh yeah. Skibbity, Ohio Riz. I just had a foster kid for 8 months. Wow. And he taught me all sorts of he was 6 and he knew all that shit. And I had no idea what any of it is. And I'm like, wow, I actually am old. This kind of sucks.
On God, no cap.
Yep, exactly. Whatever you say, man.
So chat. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have to do that. Well, tell me about, you founded Represent? Were you one of the OG members?
No, no. They were a band for I want to say 4 years before I joined. So they put out the True at All Costs record, which was kind of the record that, they tore it off and that kind of blew them up for the moment.
Mhm.
The band had a place and time for sure. But I joined right after that. The band was kind of known for having like what do you call it, revolving door of members, because Derek, the vocalist, was, pretty much the driving force of the band. So I ended up joining on bass because they needed a bassist, and played bass for like 2 years and then switched to guitar. I want to say 2009, right before we went to Europe. My first tour ever was a 50-day European tour. So yeah, it was a little bit of a rude awakening as far as like touring goes.
Thrown into the deep end.
Oh, dude, yeah. But I'm like, Europe? Like, of course. Like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm not a city kid, dude. I'm a suburban kid. I came
Mhm.
from the outskirts of Erie, so like, never traveled. My parents never took us anywhere. So I'm like, that sounds sick. Like, I'm in. I didn't even own a guitar. Like, I had to borrow somebody's guitar for the European tour, which in hindsight, now is like hilarious to think about. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But anyways, yeah. So I joined before the second record, and I've been in the band ever since. I play drums now, but for the longest time I played guitar.
So that's crazy because you were on guitar. Now you're on
Mhm.
drums. So like, you just flip around? I'm having a hard time like thinking about that because I'm in a band where I play drums, but now I play bass, but then I'm gonna play drums again.
Yeah, it's
So
funny, right?
did you write some of the records on guitar and now you're writing on drums?
So we haven't written anything in years. We have a record that's like 90% done. And I've been pushing Derek, like, come on, let's finish it, especially now because I have a recording studio. Like, we don't even have to pay anybody and I can mix it and everything, like the least possible resistance in the way. And we just can't seem to like get our shit together to get it done. But the last couple songs that we wrote, I wrote on guitar. And so like I'm a little bit nervous when it comes to drums because, like, drums, I'm not a very creative drummer, very straightforward, standard hardcore stuff. So, like, I play a lot of the songs differently than they were recorded too because I just like stuff a little bit more straightforward and heavy hitting, making sure the accents punch and everything like that. But yeah, so I haven't written anything on drums for Represent. I'm in another band called Subdue, which is heavily Suburban Scum influenced. And I play drums in that band, and you can hear that. So like you can hear the drumming on the record's a little rough because I'd only been playing for like less than a year when we recorded it, but heavily influenced by stuff like that. It's definitely the most creative drumming that I've ever attempted for sure.
Have you thought about writing it like doing MIDI drums, like where you program it first and then learning the program version?
I've thought about it, but I don't even know how to program drums, believe it or
Okay.
not. I haven't sat down to learn it. And like, honestly, I kind of don't really want to because now I have a drum recording rig set up and I'm like, this means that I should sit down and write real drums and get better at real drums. Like, I don't need to get better at programming shit. I need
Mhm.
to get better at actually playing the drums. So, when I started the channel, I kind of would do like copy and paste from like MIDI packs for like demo tracks and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I've never really got into the drum programming thing.
I hate drum programming
Yeah,
so
you
much.
do it? Yeah.
I I do it when I need to like demo something out, and
Yeah.
I don't have a kid at home.
Okay.
And I hate it so much. And then it's like I could just go and record this in 5 minutes.
Isn't it? It's super tedious, isn't it?
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I could never do it. Like my brain just I don't have the focus capacity for it.
Because like it's even I can track it, and even if it's not perfect, I can like basically change it to MIDI
Sure.
and then just snap it in place
Right, right.
for the purpose of,
Demos
demoing.
and shit like that, for sure.
So that's why I kind of hate it. But if I need an idea to get out and I don't have time to go do that, I'll try to knock it out and like use my keyboard to play the part,
Yeah. Okay.
which also sucks.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you kind of rough it in like that and then kind of
Mhm.
go back and add like the accents and everything else, right?
Yeah, and change velocities and,
Yeah.
do my fills and stuff like that. But it takes so much more time.
Yeah.
But once I get that once I hyper fixate and I hit that wave, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. You get the flow state, man.
Time
I
starts
know,
flying.
for real. I
It's
know
not good.
exactly what you're talking
It's
about.
not good. Um, so you mentioned that when we were talking via chat that you were gonna have a new record coming out. Is there anything else around planned for Represent, some shows and things like that?
So we actually played last weekend for Edge Day. We played a straight edge like hardcore show with like 6 bands on it down in Pittsburgh, and that was like super sick.
Hmm.
We've been more active in the last like year than we have in a long time, and like the response to the band has been really good, and we're playing to some really young kids who it's kind of like renewed interest in the band a little bit. Nothing crazy, but enough that I'm like, all right, let's start pushing this a little bit more. So at the moment, like I said, I just booked that show here Sunday, November 9th here in Eerie. That's the only other show that we have on the books for right now, but new record. We're going to finish the new record. And then we are also, next year is the 20-year anniversary of True at All Costs, our like the record that everybody knows. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I have been pushing Derek. I'm like, let's re-record that record and like modernize it a little bit. So we're throwing around that idea of re-recording it. I think it would be a really fun project. Um, so like that's really all that we have on the books for right now. But we're like, anybody who wants to book us, cover our travel costs. That's all we ask, and we're there. We don't need any money to play it, just as long as we're not paying too much out of pocket to get there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's how we roll.
What about for the channel? Any upcoming curveballs you have in the pocket?
Just like I said, that the biohazard thing, that was a channel thing. So like that's going to be a whole vlog style video, and that should be coming out. I don't know when this is going to air, but probably coming out sometime next week. So like first
Okay.
week in November, roughly. If you're a quad cortex person, we captured Bobby's rig, and I'm giving the captures. I'm putting the captures up on the cloud for everybody to download, so you can play through the state of the world address rig. Like it's super sick if you're a hardcore kid.
That's
So
fucked
like,
up.
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna have to buy a quad cortex now or a nano. I'll get a
get the
nano.
nano. Get the nano. The nano's sick, man. I love it. My band Human Animal just played, and Neural sent us all nano cortexes to do a video for that.
The
So
fuck,
that was 2 days ago, and we captured our rigs and we used those live, and they worked pretty well. It was pretty cool.
man. I had a friend that had a nano, and he plays in a band called Rust,
Okay.
and he like we were like, oh, you like the nano? He's like, nah. He's like, I have the quad. He's like, the nano is just not what I thought it was. I was like, it's just 1 amp. Like, what do you what do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I wonder what he means.
He's like, I don't. He's like, I don't need it. He's like, I'm just gonna use the quad. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, fair enough,
Fair
dude.
enough. Right. Yeah, for sure.
I'm dumb, so I just need the nano.
Dude, the nano can do so much, and I literally do the absolute bare minimum with it, where I capture my amp and I use that and nothing else. Like everything else is analog around it. So like, yeah, it's kind of wasted on a person like me, but you could probably figure out some cool shit to do with it.
That's what I'm trying to convince my guitarist to do because he runs two 6505s right now,
Yeah,
and we travel with two 6505s, which
hell
is
yeah,
horrible.
love it.
It's great.
Yep.
But I was like, dude, you could just literally get a nano cortex and put both your amps in the nano cortex and then just split to cabs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Yep.
like, how would I do that? I was like, I'm just telling you, bro, you can do it. I'm just telling
It's
you.
science, bro.
I
Look
can,
into it.
it's math. Um, yeah, but it's hard to get the analog guys onto digital. So I can't even believe that you're doing biohazards rig and
Well,
even the
that was
even the bulldoze guys is pretty crazy.
it's super cool, man. But that was the selling point for Bobby is like, he's like, I've heard digital, I've heard it can sound good, but I'm just a tube amp guy. Like, and I'm like, dude, trust me, I get it. Like any opportunity that I can bring a real amp to something, I'm going to bring it. But this is actually a solid option
Hmm.
now. It's no longer shit. It's very, very good. So like I was tasked to be the person to kind of show him the light of that stuff, and he loved it. So apparently he used it at their New York show and loved it. So
Damn.
super cool.
I'm trying to get out to go see them on Saturday.
Yeah,
Because Bayway is also opening and
nice.
I love Bayway. and I got to see Onyx because that's just crazy.
Right. When are you ever gonna get to see that again?
Never.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to figure out if I can make it out there, but if not, I know I'm gonna have FOMO.
Can't do it, man. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Uh, well, Kyle, we have reached the final question, the finish line, if you may.
Shit. Okay.
What is your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
My favorite what?
City for beans and breakdowns.
City?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
What's the best city for beans and breakdowns? They got the beans, they got the breakdowns.
Man, that's I don't even know. As far as breakdowns, I don't even know if this is gonna actually like make sense, but Pittsburgh.
It makes
Pittsburgh's
sense.
bands have the heaviest fucking breaks out of like any other city. Like their stuff has always been brutal. Pittsburgh beatdown is what basically has created all the beatdown bands that you know today. Like so many bands have been influenced off of like No Retreat and Built Upon Frustration. Like so I would say Pittsburgh's breakdowns. Beans, man, fuck me. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you because I'm not the guy to ask. Half the time I buy my coffee at Aldi, so you don't want my opinion on that.
At least it's not Costco. I know people that buy their coffee at Costco.
So I probably would if there was a Costco near me, but we don't have
Um,
one in Erie.
Bad.
I'll take your word for it, man.
The Aldi's okay. It's at least a little more ethical.
Aldi's is the shit, man.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I will
Absolutely,
have
dude.
links to everything we have talked about that I can find in the description of this episode. Um, but take it easy, man. I appreciate you hanging out.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. This was great. Good luck to the viewer trying to follow this fucking thing.